Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Feels like a real betrayal to have students, to know that students feel this way.
Students and other protesters gathered at North Dakota State University campus today to make their voices heard as the school confirms it's investigating multiple potential hate speech incidents involving students. Valley News Team's Devin Fry joins us live from the campus with the very latest. Devin?
Mike, we're on campus outside of the school's old main administrative building where the protest came to an end just hours ago. They started in front of the Memorial Union and walked around campus for hours and ended here. We were able to follow the protest from start to finish, where we learned it's not just students who are outraged. Hundreds of students and other protesters gathered on the NDSU campus to make their voices heard after a student-run racist group chat was made known to the public on social media. The university also confirmed 2 more alleged hate speech incidents being investigated on campus. The organizers of the protest were thrilled to see such a massive turnout.
It's so heartwarming. I did not think this many people were going to come out, and it just means a lot to me that this many people care about the cause. So thanks to everybody who showed up and everybody who's supporting from wherever you are.
The protesters were mainly chanting for accountability on behalf of the school and the students. They also want reforms to the way these kind of incidents are handled after learning that officials within the school knew about the group chat in the beginning of November and has only recently become known to the public.
15 days ago, many of us did not know what happened, but 30 days ago, the administration did. There is a problem. Just as we hold the city of Fargo, the police department, the mayor accountable, we also will hold NDSU accountable.
One man who marched alongside the protesters is also a professor here at NDSU and told us that he feels a sense of betrayal.
It's exceptionally hurtful when the president is so late to respond to it. As a person who goes into the classroom and teaches these kids, it feels like a betrayal to know that if I got a classroom full of 200 people, maybe 5 of them have a nasty TikTok account or a nasty Snapchat account.
He hopes that this type of demonstration will get the school administration to listen.
This is the right way. We have to try something. This is the right way to start.
Protesters are going to be back here at NDSU again at the same time tomorrow, except this time they're going to be protesting outside of the president's house. We're going to keep checking in on the situation, but for right now from the NDSU campus, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
Thanks, Devin. And for the latest developments of NDSU's campus and what's going on, be sure to download the VNL News app and click on this story. Sanford Health has indefinitely suspended talks about a merger with a Utah-based healthcare system. The decision follows the recent departure of longtime Sanford Health executive Kelby Krabenhoff, who resigned last month following controversial comments made to staff and the media regarding mask usage. Sanford's new president and CEO, Bill Gasson, says they're no longer working toward a merger and will refocus efforts internally. The president of Intermountain Healthcare says they're disappointed. Thousands of North Dakotans are separated from their loved ones in long-term care facilities due to the pandemic. An advocacy group is trying to change that and make sure the residents are getting the emotional support they need. Reporter Emmeline Ivey has more on the impact of separation and details on what's being done.
Going from seeing your parents every day to a few short visits over the span of months can be heartbreaking, especially when you have no say in the matter. That's what one Fargo woman says happened to her and her mother when the pandemic lockdowns began. Since then, she says things haven't gone much better, but one group says they have plans to improve the situation.
Knowing how my mom feels on the inside breaks my heart.
Lydia Faulkner's mother, Jill Sigmund, had a stroke in 2006 and has been living in a nursing home ever since.
We can go home and, still live life and still have each other, and she's stuck in there.
Faulkner and her family visited her mother on a daily basis for hours at a time. That all changed when coronavirus lockdowns went in place in March.
When it first started, we were not getting any contact as to what was going on inside of the facility. She was locked up, and that's all we knew.
The family tried to adapt with new guidelines. Outdoor visits are now allowed.
And my sister came from Minneapolis with her new baby and wanted to show my mom, of course, the baby.
Faulkner says trying to make connections for those special family moments are a struggle.
She just reached across and wanted to touch his foot, and the nurse came over and yelled at her and said, "Jill, you know you can't touch anybody, and if you do, you're going to be in quarantine for 14 days.
Faulkner says she's worried about her mother, but also for other residents who don't have someone to speak for them and be with them when COVID-19 restrictions are in place. North Dakota Advocacy for Long-Term Care is trying to change that.
Regardless if we have a pandemic or not, we need their residents need to be able to see their loved ones. And so that's one of our probably primary initiatives, is that we're hoping to see something like that move forward in North Dakota.
Beth Sanford and her group have been working with lawmakers to make sure the Residents' Bill of Rights is carried out in every facility, so that people like Faulkner and Sigmund, and Sanford's own grandmother, can be with those they love during these trying times. If you'd like to learn more about how you can advocate for your loved ones in assisted living facilities, visit the North Dakota Advocacy for Long-Term Care Facebook group.
Representatives from the facility where Sigmund lives have not commented on the matter. Both Moderna and Pfizer have applied for the FDA's emergency use authorization in order to expedite distribution of a COVID-19 vaccine. Doctors tell us just because the process was fast doesn't mean that it's less safe than anything else on the market.
Typically, drugs go through a lengthy, years-long approval process before FDA approval. However, COVID vaccines have been created, manufactured, and shipped out in less than a year.
People are thinking, oh, it's not safe, it's just way too fast. How can it possibly be safe? Because normally it takes years. We have still gone through all of the same steps to get these vaccines out there now as we did with everything else.
Vaccine makers sped up the process but overlapped the steps in order to get approval, meaning all the same tests were run and data was collected for traditional FDA approval.
It was a much faster timeline, but they did it in a way where they didn't do any shortcuts. And they've actually tested this vaccine on over 40,000 patients, which is more patients than some of the vaccines that are already available to the public.
Healthcare professionals say the vaccine will be safe and effective.
And I think it's our way out of this mess that we're in right now.
As of now, around 60% of Americans say they plan to get vaccinated. State health leaders say we'll need 70% of the state to get the shot for it to be effective. While it's recommended, the COVID vaccine will be voluntary.
Representatives at both Sanford and CHI say that if you have any concerns, they advise you to talk to your health care provider. A Minnesota company is playing a vital role in the distribution of the COVID vaccine. Thermo King, located in Bloomington, introduced transport refrigeration to the world shortly before World War II. Now their refrigeration equipment will protect vaccines as they travel on trains, trucks, and planes. The vaccines are presenting unprecedented challenges with storage temperatures so far below zero. The Pfizer vaccine requires temps of negative 70 degrees Celsius, while the Moderna vaccine requires negative 20 degrees Celsius.
Vaccines have to stay at a specific temperature so that they maintain their strength and potency and are still good when they go into someone's arm.
This vaccine cold chain is so important, the government is warning that hackers may be trying to infiltrate and disrupt it. They're telling companies like Thermo King to be careful. Lawmakers in Minnesota are optimistic that they can agree on a new coronavirus relief package in time for a December 14th special session. But negotiations on what should go into the aid package are continuing. There is agreement on helping businesses hit by Governor Tim Walz's latest round of shutdowns and extending unemployment benefits. But Republicans have not embraced a Democratic proposal for 500 one-time payments to low-income families. Later on Valley News Live at 10, tips for making and keeping a holiday budget. But first, the weekend finally is here, and it's going to be a warm one, relatively speaking. Hutch has the details, plus word on when flakes might return to the forecast.